Fisherman. I better silence my own. I'd like to call this meeting to order. We'll start with the Pledge of Allegiance and a moment of silence. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. You may be seated. Ask everyone to please silence your phones while I'm thinking of it. Okay, proof of notice. Or can roll call.
Sure. Yes, sir. Donna Mosier. Here. Eileen Dunn.
Here.
Larry Oskowski.
Here.
Rick Agler. Brenda Owens. Barry Burgess.
Here.
LeMay Nyford.
Here.
And Ed Wayner.
Here.
Yes, that notice was posted as per your documents in Florida statute.
Okay. Reading and disposal of the previous minutes. Have a motion?
I make a motion that we accept the prior minutes from the last meeting. I second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, Art Committee.
Good afternoon. I'll even speak into the mic today. As of this morning, we had 14 available, reviewed, 14 approved, 1 not approved. As of lunch, we had 15 approved and 1 not approved. Neighbor chased me down the street to get 1 signed because the windows were in their driveway on a truck to be put on. And I got Ed to agree with it.
I make a motion that we approve the 15 for approval by the art committee.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Carried.
The one that wasn't approved was the procedure on page 8, item M, not acceptable. If it says in the procedure is not allowed, then we have no way what we can use.
Motion to discuss this.
Yeah, I did.
I make a motion that we deny the Laura Del Rio Drive that is proposed by the art committee, which opens it for discussion.
Second?
Is this on now? Is this on? Yes, that home is my home. And I want to give you a little background on what happened here. I was putting up a temporary canopy to use over my gas grill because I have skin cancer on my face and we can't be under the UV rays. And according to the bylaws, I didn't have to put in an ARC form. I didn't have to have board approval for a temporary canopy. But a lady came to my wife and said that Russell Rogers said that I needed to put an ARC form in. He never came to me, came to a third party. So my wife got nervous because I'm on the board and she doesn't want anybody to think we do something wrong. So she ran down here and put in an ARC form. When she came home, I said, "Why did you do that?" She said, "Because Russell Rogers said we had to do it." So, of course, it came to the meeting and it got denied, of course. That's a no-brainer. And what I'm suggesting to everybody here, not just the board, I'm allowed to put a temporary unit up for 2 days and take it down and re-put it up and take it down and re-put it up for the rest of my life. It's in the bylaws. And if the man and the art committee, number 1 or number 2 or number 3, never saw the unit. Nobody from the art committee saw the unit. So how can you disapprove something you didn't see? You don't even know what it is. So I'm here to say, take that piece of paper and throw it away because it doesn't count. I wasn't doing anything wrong.
Done.
I think you got one thing wrong, Larry. I did tell an ACT board, and he was going to talk to you. ACT board member.
First of all, I'm not going to get another ARC board member involved. If you said something to an individual,
I said something.
you are the committee chairman, you said something to an individual, if you don't have a backbone to go to me, then you shouldn't say anything to anybody.
Donna?
Well, I did go out and I did go out and I looked at what he has put up. It's really no difference in size than the umbrellas we've got at the pool tables outside. It's not one of these big giant gazebo things. I personally do not see a problem with it, and if the wind starts to come up, it is where he can take it down, put it away. So,
Eileen?
Yeah, I usually go and look at these things that are denied, and I went over and looked at this one because it is a board member, and it does appear to be a temporary type of structure to me. You take it down probably in less than 5 minutes. It's just kind of tied on there. It's not a gazebo. It looks like a square kind of umbrella with 4 posts. It's on the patio area, and it covers his grill to protect you from the sun, I guess. Really don't see anything wrong with it, I guess. It looks like a temporary structure. It's not sturdy enough to be a solid structure.
Getting a lot of feedback, talking in the crowd. Please pay attention and respect this one speaking. Elaine?
Looking at this, the bylaws, which, I was at the meeting, if it is a permanent canopy, it is not allowed. It says gazebos, tiki hut, sun sails, and tents. Even if we said this was on a par with that, if Larry is willing to take it down, then it becomes a temporary structure, which is not up for more than 2 days, then there is nothing to do but allow this. And I don't know if you would have had to put an arc in if it is only going to be up for 2 days, but either way, it's not something that we can overrule at this point.
Eileen?
That applies to gazebos, am I correct?
Well, it says,
Gazebos, canopies, tiki huts, sun sails, and tents are prohibited. Temporary canopies and tents may be put up for no more than 2 days.
I can have it up for 2 days, and I can take it down, and then I can re-put it up.
okay.
Debbie, do we need to vote or should I take my motion back?
Should we take it back? Yes, John? Withdraw the motion?
All you need to do is agree with the denial and move on, probably, right?
So
You don't need to make a
going-
motion, you don't need to make a motion for this temporary structure.
Withdraw the arc.
I'm sorry, I didn't want to put it in the first place. Yes, we'll
Okay.
withdraw the arc.
All right,
All right, so the
thank you. Motion.
way we'll solve this is Larry's gonna withdraw the arc and LeMay's gonna withdraw the motion to deny.
And one more thing,
Yes, Russ?
I resign.
All right. Okay. Moving on, Emergency Response Committee.
Good afternoon, Patricia French Wisely, 7024-13A06 for the Emergency Response Committee. This last week, we had our annual review with most of the members of the maintenance team. This involves going around and inventorying everything that we think we might need in the coming hurricane high water seasons. The shutters were counted. The screws in the butterfly wing nuts that we need have been counted and weighed, and all the doors have been checked, and they all go up and down. Sometimes they don't, and you need to call a repairman. The committee decided that the next time somebody goes to a hardware store, they're going to pick up a few more of the widgets and the wing bolts, and we'll probably need about 12 to 15 more sandbags. But we have plenty right now if we had to start sandbagging the clubhouse. We have submitted a slightly revised plan to the board this year, and I will go over the few changes that we have made. On the list of Toxa directors, we deleted Ann Osinga and in her place, put Rick Adler. And under committee members, we added board liaison Rick Adler. Going to the last couple of pages in the document, page 1, stormwater control guidelines. The third paragraph at the top of the page, after the period, add a sentence. And these are the last few words of the last sentence. If an event is expected. And the addition is, if the water in the North Pond exceeds 10 feet 4 inches, the water will recycle between Footprint Lake and the North Pond. That's why we try to keep Footprint Lake below 10.4, and we try to keep it around 9 feet 6 inches. So if we are anticipating a high water event, we will start pumping to get Footprint Lake lower so that we have some capacity to pump. On the second page of the stormwater guidelines, number 3, there's a cell phone number. After the closed paren of the cell phone, add a period and delete the remainder of the sentence. Paragraph 2, second to last line, last 3 words, a portable pump, period. Insert, installing it at the South Pond and connecting it to the manhole at Benton and Ponderosa Ave that goes to Footprint Lake. That's in the event of a high water event. Hurricanes or wind events, tropical storms are usually water events, and that's why we have to be very careful. Right now, we're running, with the rain, we are running about 5 inches above average. So as we get into the rainy season, we will be monitoring the lakes very carefully. And if anybody would like a tour of the ponds, the North Pond, the South Pond, all the other places, we'd be very happy to give you a tour. It takes about an hour.
Question?
Has arrangements been made to get those-
Use your microphone.
Has arrangements been made to get the 15 bags of sand?
Yes, the maintenance staff is going to be taking care of that. The manager and the maintenance staff are very cooperative, and
So we're gonna get,
it was actually at the manager's suggestion that we got a few more.
Patty, you would send an email to everyone asking Chuck Grass, Patrick Malinsky, and Ron Wisely.
Yes,
Are they to be added to this committee?
the committee is requesting it at this point. We need more people. I mean, hopefully with the ponds we have, we won't be out at 4 o'clock in the morning trying to move furniture in the clubhouse. But this is a working committee, and all the folks that are on the committee are full-time residents, because it's not helpful if somebody isn't here during a storm. And we would like these 3 members added.
I would like to make a motion then that we add Chuck Grass, Patrick Malinsky, and Ron Wisely to the emergency.
Moved and seconded. Is there any discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Carried.
Thank you.
Thank you, Patty, for your report. Unfinished business, bulk communications project, update on Blue Stream. John.
And so we recently had 2 town hall meetings with Blue Stream to inform and educate the homeowners. The early meeting, I think we had about 60-some homeowners. The nighttime meeting, I think we had about a dozen homeowners. At this point, I think the only thing that I have to mention is that we're waiting for an updated survey link from Blue Stream so that we can survey the residents.
And is that survey going to be mailed?
So right now, it's whatever the board wants us to do. We haven't received any direction on what to do with it yet.
Eileen?
John, about the flyer, did that flyer that some people got, come from here?
No, so I've heard from a couple of people that flyers appeared in mailboxes in the little newspaper tubes. Bluestream didn't do that, and Timber Oaks did not do that.
Thank you.
Larry?
Yeah, I was very disappointed at the turnout that was here for the town hall because many residents said they didn't get the flyer. And I think somebody did a half-assed job in distributing these flyers. What I recommend is that if we're going to do this again, at Bluestream's expense, they should make up flyers for every home in this development, put them in the tubes. I'll volunteer to put the tube in Monterey. I'm sure we can get volunteers to put it through the community. This way, every person who lives here will have access to a flyer.
Donna?
When I was here at the meeting that afternoon, I talked to the guy from Bluestream, and he said that they would be mailing a survey to everyone. Now, I live in the condos, and I know the condos got a mailing, so it may have just been our condo manager that sent out a flyer and not necessarily the office.
Eileen?
Also, is this going to be on our website? The filming, I know they filmed it.
We haven't received a link back that we can post anywhere that would connect you to that video.
He said he was gonna do one of those for them.
LeMay?
I was here for both meetings, and it was really disappointing, the amount that came, but I think most people didn't know anything about it. So we either need to start doing a call or, I think, my suggestion was to put a bulletin board or something in the front with, dates of board meetings or Bluestream meeting or anything like that that's important to all. At least those that are here would know what was going on. We had a total of, I think, 69 people at the morning meeting and a total of 20 at the evening meeting. That's not enough. They are supposed to send us the link. Aaron said he will send us a link and then we can put that on the website, but a lot of people don't go on the website. So we're kind of stuck there. I think without a mailing, and I think that's how the survey should be handled. If we don't mail the survey out, the problem is if we do, if the survey goes on the website or it's posted by us here, all of the snowbirds and all those on vacation at this time will not get it. We need to reach everyone. So I think that's something we need to put out to Bluestream.
Bluestream will definitely pay for any flyers that have to be made at their expense. And I think a lot of people don't come to the clubhouse. A lot of people don't go online. I think we need to reach people by hands-on. You can't put them in the mailbox, but you can put them in the tubes.
We also have the robocall we could use.
Or robocall? A robocall would have been nice, but Bluestream was handling that part of it instead of us, so, yeah, we should have thought of that. That was our mistake. Anything else, John?
That's all that I have, Ed.
Okay, so at this point, we're waiting on Bluestream. And make sure that they know that we feel that a mailing would be appropriate for the survey. And if they want to do another, meeting, that we'll do a robocall so that everybody is made available. Okay. Any other discussion?
Ellie Malilly, he had mentioned that they were going to have with that packet that he read from and everything that he spoke about was very hard to absorb, papers, everything he had to say. Someone asked him if he was going to have those available for residents, and he did say yes, they would. So if that's true, just about everything he had to say would have been better if you had it in hand at the time, so you could follow him a little more closely. So, to me, if that's really true, they're gonna supply packets for each resident to look at it and absorb it, then a robocall would be made to every resident, say, pick up your packet at the clubhouse, so that way everybody would know the packets are available. But if it's true, they're going to supply the survey and that packet, it would be advantageous to them and cost less rather than mailing them out. Just my opinion.
Debbie, am I wrong? Were those packets available at the office? I know you had some, what he gave us. Okay. I know there were 2 flyers that were available at the meetings. They didn't explain everything, but I know what you're talking about, Ellie. They possibly put some of that in when they mailed the survey.
They did not, those folders
Eileen?
they handed out did not give any price.
Can you hear her?
No.
Barely.
It's not on. Is this on? They did not put any pricing on those.
No, you gotta fix that. I mean, we can't hear you. We can't hear you. There's something not right. No, it's not.
Is this working?
Now it is.
How close do?
There you go.
Okay. The pamphlets did not put any pricing, and people were interested in that, I know. So I think he said he was gonna put together a packet that would show pricing. I think that's the packet that what you're referring to, Ellie.
Hey, Dale?
Now, Thompson, Hachita Drive. I just have to speak the truth here, and I think a lot of you already know it. There's a lot of people in here that knew all about it, but since before the spectrum was even brought up, they don't like change. They're happy with the way things are. They don't want to make changes. They don't want to come to board meetings because they don't want negativity. And they just don't really pay attention to much that goes on. And I know that for a fact. I mean, I could name a list of names and they probably wouldn't care. I know people myself that I spoke to about the meetings that were complaining because they didn't get a flyer, they didn't get a robocall, but yet they knew everything about it from Facebook, and yet they still did not show up. They're just not interested. They think it's a no-go for them. They're happy with what they have, and that's basically it. I myself put on Facebook, if you already know your answer is no, and you want nothing to do with this, don't come and take up our time, because the people that are going should be the people that are interested and really want to hear what the offer is.
Thank you, Dale. Ellie, you already spoke on this.
I know, just when, I think when you said it was an opt-out, a lot of people said, I'm not going to that meeting if I can opt out, because they had already made up their mind.
Ann Osinga, 14116. It was mentioned at the last meeting that this Blue Stream would be giving money towards, I guess it goes to Tuska.
Called a door fee.
Okay, does that go to each individual homeowner
No,
that signs up for this?
goes to the association.
Okay, and as I mentioned before, the previous attorney said we cannot use the association money on residents' property. And basically, that's what you would be doing if they signed up for it and then 6 months down the road opted out. You can't use that money to pay for that service.
We haven't even got to that point yet.
I know, but so the whole thing is mute. If you know, even if it has the opt out and people opt out, you can't use the money they give you to pay for that service. And I think that's something to consider. If the new attorney says for some reason that you can use the community money towards that, then I suggest rather than do it for something that, you know, I'm sure even a majority of the people don't want, if you can use the community money on people's property, I suggest you use it to put a nice fence on Jasmine.
Thank you, Ann.
From what Terrence explained to us, there is a special tax bracket that this money goes into, and it most certainly is legal and can be used wherever we want. But none of this really matters because until we get a contract or until we get to that point, and then that contract goes to a lawyer, nothing is being done. And of course, if it's illegal, it most certainly will not be done. So, but it cannot, it has to be legal. All of the condominiums get a door fee. And this has been going on and it's done in every different HOA all around us. So I'm sure there's a legality to it. I cannot tell you what it is, but it will certainly be checked by the lawyer.
John, did you have something?
Ed, since we're considering mailings and robocalls, now's probably a good time to ask the question of the attorney in reference to the condos, whether they're in or out. And the second part of that question is two bulk contracts. You're not allowed to have more than one bulk contract. So how would the existing condo contracts affect, if they had any effect at all, on Timber Oak? So before we do mailings or agree to mailings, we should probably ask those questions.
I thought the condos weren't included because they have contracts already.
Right, but how does that affect us legally? We recently received a question from a homeowner with that very question, and it's a legitimate question that has the attorney.
I think legally we're just going with the remainder, not the condos. So I don't see that should affect it.
Right, but we don't know if that's legal to exclude the condos.
How can we only have two bulk contracts when the condos each have their own?
Because
There's more than two already in
because
effect.
the problem is so the Florida statute only allows one bulk contract, right? So that would be one bulk contract for Timber Oaks. Is it legal for us to exclude the condos from that offering? And the fact that there's existing partial contracts, how does that work with statute only allowing one contract?
But this isn't considered a bulk contract because we're not collecting it. And this is a individual contract, but if it's voluntary, if we get 60%, they won't even proceed unless we get 60%. We don't want to proceed unless, we see that there's enough interest there that we're not going to end up paying.
You're still signing a contract and you're still binding the association to that contract.
But then how did the condos get it?
Because they're only offering it to the condo homeowners. It doesn't affect anyone outside of their individual condos. There are multiple individual contracts. There's not one that covers 7 condos. There's 7 contracts.
And there would be one for Timber Oaks residents. Well, it would have to be checked with the lawyer.
I don't think we, I don't think that we should, I don't think we should be spending any money for lawyers until we figure out if we're gonna do this or not. If we get to 60%, then you go asking the accountants, then you go asking the attorneys these kind of questions. And I don't think we're discriminating against the condos because the people in Timber Oaks will still have the option to choose other services, the same as the condos are now under another service. But that's a question for the attorney that can be asked at that point in time if we get to that point. I don't think we should spend any money prior to finding out if this is a viable option.
The $1 million question is, when we get to a mailing, do you want us to mail it to the condos or not?
And I think before we get to that, we need to confer with a lawyer. We're not going to continue with what we're doing if the lawyer says it is illegal. This is something that affects everyone. The lawyer needs to be, we need counsel.
If you want to spend all that money,
All that money, what does it cost to call the lawyer and get an answer?
probably $300 or so.
Okay, I'd rather spend
But
$300
I'd rather
to
spend
continue
it-
with this talking and this debate when we aren't even, possibly not even able to do it.
Why not do the survey and then find out?
I want to know, I don't want to continue with all of this
Well, anyone,
without knowing whether we can legally do it.
at some point you should make a motion.
Okay, I make a motion that we confer with the lawyer to find out what we can legally do with the Blue Stream contract.
I say,
We have a second. All in favor, say aye. Opposed? Okay, moving on to green cards.
I asked for this to be put on the agenda because, I have been showing up at the office and looking over all of the fines and letters that go out to everyone. And some of these have been going out because of green cards. My problem with the green cards is, I would say 90% of the green cards that are put in, they are put in as one neighbor against another. The whole reason that the state took over and said you cannot have residents doing this in their development was because they did not want neighbor against neighbor. And this is what green cards has turned into. So, and it seems that every time we've gone out to look at a fine or a letter that went out for something that no one would normally have even seen, and I know Ed talked to one gentleman and said, I'm sure that this has to be a green card because you can't see it otherwise. And the neighbor said, yes, my neighbors did something, and when I said something to them, next thing this was put in. So I don't know how everyone feels about the green cards. To me, we have someone who is paid to go around and look. If we don't like what she's doing, we will address with her, which is what we're trying to do at this point. But I think the green cards really need to be eliminated.
Donna?
Add to that, there is a committee that we have formed, and we are going to be writing down instructions for her to be looking at that says like your grass can't be over 6 inches tall or whatever. That way she's got guidelines and everything, and we can start possibly doing away with the green cards, and we will have a better system for her to follow.
Eileen?
I don't think the green cards are totally bad. I mean, there are situations where sometimes I think the person does miss something, and somebody comes down and puts their name on the green card, and then the deed restriction lady goes out and looks at it, not somebody else. I think it's an okay thing for her to do, but I mean, it seems to me she should only go look at it when she's in that area, not make a special trip for that green card.
Larry?
Talking about green cards, my wife and I drove around the other day, and in an hour and 10 minutes, we've written 312 green cards. Case closed. It's ridiculous. Beside the vendetta from one neighbor to another, I could tell you on my street, almost every home has a green card right now, including mine. Okay, 312 green cards in an hour and 10 minutes just driving around. I don't know what else we have to say. It's ridiculous.
I think that we need to stop Big Brother is watching. I don't want that in this area. It just causes more and more problems. And the problem with the green card is, yes, she goes out and she looks where the green card was stated. Unfortunately, she's not looking anywhere else. So the neighbor says, oh, that driveway's terrible, but there's 5 more right on that street that aren't cited. And so this one person gets a driveway violation. And they want to know why. And then it just causes more problems. And I think we made it that if you put a green card in, we don't need to tell anyone who did it. Well, if you aren't willing to put a green card in and put your name on it, it shouldn't be put in. So I would like to make a motion that we eliminate green cards.
We have a motion and a second to eliminate Green cards, John?
Lemay, would you like to include in that motion to rescind the policy previously adopted by the board?
Yes.
I can read it.
Go ahead.
Policy for official complaints and violations enforcement. Whereas the association rules and regulations and official policies are enforced by two methods. One being the ability for a homeowner to come to the office and submit a complaint, a green card, explaining the issue, and two, being a staff member patrolling the development weekly to cite violations. Whereas the current process can produce some confusion as to the severity or legitimacy of the violation and allows room for notices to be sent to incorrect addresses. Now therefore, be it resolved that this official policy is to be amended as follows. Homeowners must submit all complaints in writing by letter, email, or in-office complaint card. The complaint must be signed with the address and contact information of the owner who is filing the complaint, with the understanding the homeowner's name submitting the complaint will be kept confidential. Details that must be included in the complaint may include date, time, nature of violation, address of person responsible for violation, and any necessary details that would substantiate violation, to include a picture. All staff member inspections for violations will be completed in accordance to board direction. All violations issued will be in accordance with association documents and must include a picture. This was amended on May 7th, 2021. And approved on July 15th, 2020. And
Yes, Ann Osaka 14116. Rather than eliminate all the green cards at this meeting, maybe the policy could be put in the next Timber Times or on the website, if it's possible, because people don't know apparently that they're supposed to sign their names. That would eliminate a lot of them, I think. I know I've put one in, I've put probably on the same house 2 or 3, and I do sign my name because we still have Christmas lights up. But I've just given up on that because Our Lady doesn't go around at night to see all the Christmas lights. So, but maybe if you put the policy out there, or at least put in the Timber Times that they are to be signed. People don't realize that they have to be because before this date, they weren't. Thank you.
thank you, Ann. Ellie?
Donna mentioned, I know it's been mentioned, you're having a committee going along with your driver. Is that what you're doing?
No.
So, because you know that
No, that's not what we're
residents are
doing.
not supposed to be part of the deed restriction procedure.
This is a committee of board members and residents that was formed last or 2 meetings ago.
But residents should not be citing other residents. And before, we used to have different people in each village doing that, and the state legislature said residents cannot cite residents, and that's when they came up with the management company providing the driver, and it became another employee of ours. So
Point of order. Larry?
Yes. Residents are not doing that. Residents aren't citing any of
well, I'm
them.
asking Donna, she said that there was a committee, and I want to know what committee that is, because if it's residents, they should not be citing other residents.
We are not citing anybody. What we are doing right now, our current bylaws do not have a guideline that says your grass can't be over 6 inches. Your bushes can't be taller than 3 foot. We don't have anything like that. What this committee is doing is we are establishing these guidelines so that when she goes out and she looks for these violations, she's got a guideline now, because this is what the management company has recommended us to do. So we are coming up with a guideline now for her to follow when she's writing up these fines and suspensions. That way she can't just say, well, this guy's rust doesn't look as bad as this guy's rust, so let's just don't give him a letter, but give them a letter. See what I'm saying?
Oh, okay, so it's a committee that is assistant to the driver. so that she
Right.
knows what to look for. So
Right.
actually, that's what's going to be the change. It's not that residents will be driving along with her
No,
and being part of it, because that's illegal to do that.
Right.
Yeah. Oh,
We're not
okay.
doing that.
Well, I'm glad that's clarified. Who was on that committee? Are they board members?
Me and Larry, Jerry Beers, Bob.
Jerry Beers is a
And
resident,
Eileen.
but Jerry Beers is a resident.
And so is Bob.
Huh?
So is Bob.
Jerry
We
Beers
have
is the
residents-
chairman of that committee.
We have residents and board members.
All right, thank you.
Thank you, Ellie. Bill?
Gail Thompson, Hachita Drive, I forgot why I came up.
Okay, sit down.
All right, first of all, with something that Ellie just said, and then Donna responded, are you trying to tell me in all the years that Linda's been riding around here, she never saw everything in writing that I've read 1,000,000 times about what's allowed and what's not, as far as the height of shrubs and grass? I know what it is. Why would the person that's riding around looking for the problems not know what it is? She's been doing this for how many years? Seriously.
It was put on because we have so many complaints about why was my driveway picked and this one wasn't. So let's get a uniform, something uniform that she can follow. And if your yard has weeds that are 4 inches tall and somebody else has weeds that are 6 or 8 inches tall, only cite them. Let's not pick on the smaller stuff. Let's give people a chance to cut their grass or get their weeds down or trim them up before we hit fines and letters going out. Some of the stuff she sees, we can't even see. And Ed and I, each week, each time she goes around, have been going to the office and going through these letters. Because sometimes they're printed out, you can't even see what's wrong with them. And we have pulled them up on the computer with John and Darlene's help and looked at them and pulled the ones that are just picking. You know, let's go after what really needs to be done. Look at our residents. It's beautiful. I'm sorry. Yes, there are problems. There are places that need to be fixed. Pick on the ones that really need to be fixed and not at every little problem. Give people a chance first to take care of it. We want a uniform guideline that she uses.
Okay, I agree with that 100%, because if somebody has ivory growing up their house and they like it, and only one neighbor that don't like them complains about it, that's not right. I've been on the receiving end of the green cards plenty of times, have never written one out in my life. And the thing that I'm trying to find out is, why in the world does she not by now know that bird baths aren't allowed in the front of the yard? Or that the grass is too high, or that you can't paint a tire and put it in a yard, or keep a Christmas tree wreath up after 2 weeks. I don't understand. Right now, I'm gonna ask this question, and I want a truthful answer, please. The company, Open Door, is selling houses like crazy in here. From day one, the very first house I saw them sell was my neighbor's. We all know they never once put a sign up saying deed restricted or senior community. They had young people coming here with kids, coming to the office and being told, no, you can't buy that house. Well, right now, I can point out 4 signs from Open Door, and none of them have senior community, 55 and over, deed restriction. Is Linda riding right by them and not realizing that she needs to report that so they can make sure they put that out there on their sign? Or what is the deal? And I can tell you, when I sell my house, so far, I plan on using them. But I still want to make sure the buyers of my home know right from the get-go that it's a senior community, 55 and older, and a deed restricted community. And I don't know how this company is still able to put these signs up there.
Well, I can answer that because we have seen some letters that Linda has taken pictures of the signs and they do go out. Okay?
And I have called Open Door. I called what was on the sign.
There is none on the sign.
And I called Open Door. I had contacted them because if you're interested in this property, they were quick to get back at me because I was interested in this property. And then I told them, read what I put in there. And then I didn't hear from them again.
That's another thing, they have no phone number. They have a website, not a phone number on their phone. You can go on. If you're on
Zillow or Realtor and you can reply on that, which is what I did. And then they couldn't get in touch with me, but they don't want to hear anything about it. And their ads for those, I don't know if any of you have looked them up. It tells you the school ratings. It tells you what a great family area this is. There's nothing saying it is a senior. But also our signs are ordered, correct, John?
They are ordered, yes.
And we have signs for every village as well as entrances. And as soon as we get them, they will be up and they are large.
Donna, did you have something?
Well, I was just gonna say, when they redid our signs, they did away with our deed restricted and senior facilities signs. So we
That's
are
been-
having new ones made to be put back up there.
It's been addressed. Okay. Next.
Hello, I live on Winding Wood, and I don't know if it's a green card or what, but I always get cited all the time. Because on both sides of my house, I have rusty water, and I have, city water. So my problem is constantly, I have to put tarps up if it's gonna hit our house is so close, and they put their sprinklers full blast, and it's that rusty water. I have it on my driveway, so I try to stop it by putting a tarp up while they're doing it, or they water too much, and I've already went to code enforcement and said these people are watering more than they should, blah, 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 they do it twice a day, that's my problem. But I'm always cited, and I don't know if it's a green card, because I know nobody really likes me in the neighborhood because I complain about stuff, but it's a legitimate thing, like their dogs are loose. And I had to call the SPCA, the neighbor next door moved in. Nobody must tell them at the orientation about, you have to have your dog on a leash. So after 7 times, the girl coming over to my house, and it was COVID, and my dog was in heat, and I couldn't get it spayed. So they had a boy dog, of course, because my whole neighborhood, they have 2 dogs, they're always boys, and I have 2 girls. So by the 7th time, it started coming after my husband when I was walking again loose, attacking my dog. And then we had to close the gate and everything. And my dog now is crazy from it. You know what I mean? I think she has problems after that because the dog was trying to get through the gate again. But anyway, I just want people to put their dogs on a leash. And I thought also that they're not supposed to go on your property. And I see these dogs and they got these 12-foot leashes. And I thought they were supposed to be 6 foot and be respectful, but they're not. And just the other day, I'm trying to fix my grass.
What's this got to do with green cards? That's what you're supposed to be talking about.
Because I put green cards in and things like that, but then I had to end up calling them. But the other thing is, so I called you and I said, what should I do about the neighbor? He's had this car here. I feel like it's a junkyard and I'm on Jasmine. No plate for a month and a half. So you said put a green card in. So I did. Didn't hear nothing. So then I just put another green card in and I told him, I said, he called me the other day and I said, what's going on with this car here? You can't just let all this stuff go on because it's going to get like Jasmine. And that's what I don't want, So I asked him, is it allowable that now we can have cars without plates in our driveway? Because if that's the case, eventually I'm going to sell my car. Can I leave it there without a plate? Do you want this going on? That's all I'm saying. So
That's a county law.
That's a what?
A county law.
Right,
You
but
have to
how
have a
come
plate
my
on the car.
neighbor won't move his car and put it in the garage? He has a garage. So what do I do about it? What can I do about
It's in
it?
our deed restrictions. It's also in our,
Yes, but it's also a county law.
and that's one of the things for turning into green. How is that lady, the deed restriction lady, gonna catch people when the dog's pooing on your property? That's
Okay.
something the deed restriction lady's never gonna see. I mean, that's one thing the green cards are good for, and you
Right,
can take a
and
picture of
I
something.
also think that maybe if they put it in a newsletter, have your leashes 6 foot. Don't go on other people's property.
Your 3 minutes are up.
3 minutes.
Oh, okay.
Let the next person speak, please. Thank you.
Hi, Karen Fritsch from 8310 Divot Way. I didn't really know that that you were thinking about getting rid of the green cards. So I've been thinking about it, and I'm thinking about situations where down the street, somebody had a trailer, camper in their driveway for a couple months. And now I didn't put in a green card, but somebody else did. And I'm thinking, it seems like there's still maybe a place for green cards. I mean, it wasn't me going after a neighbor or them going after. In fact, the person who put in the green card lived in a different area. But they had visited people and saw over and over that the camper was there. And so then they put in a green card. So I'm thinking, if we eliminate them, let's say I have somebody down the street with a camper and it's there and there and, I'm for weeks. And so then what would I do? What would the procedure be? So I'm thinking if we get rid of green cards, maybe we need some kind of procedure to even just say, can we call the office and ask them to send, and I don't know why the code enforcement lady didn't catch it, but it didn't. She didn't. And I'm sure there's going to be situations where she wouldn't catch things. So I'm thinking we need something there. That's all I want to say. Think about that.
Thank you, Karen.
Can I say something? This all started, you can stay or whatever. This all started because there were so many complaints about things that she did not catch. And we couldn't really go up to her and say, well, you haven't done this, you haven't done that, why are you doing this or that? If we have the guidelines and she's not catching these, then we have a say in why aren't you? She can't say, well, I didn't know I had to look for that, or I didn't know I had to do this. And as board members, I know I'm much more aware of what's going on. I think we all are. I find myself outside of Timber Oaks looking at gets ridiculous. So I think as a board member, we can say, this house has been sitting there, and it's got a trailer in its driveway and nothing's been done. Or there's a boat parked in front of it and nothing's been done, but the house across the street has it done. Then we have room to say, we are not happy with the way this is being done. We need someone else. But first we have to establish ground rules. And once we do that, I'm hoping green cards are a thing of the past, and it will be more up to the person riding around with the list who needs to do what needs to be done.
A number of meetings ago, somebody suggested that the previous boards never had a job description for that lady who rides around. And I say, how could somebody who we're paying once a week for 8 hours not know what her job description is? We would all got fired many years ago. So we're trying to establish, or we will establish, a job description for this woman so she can do her job properly. That's it.
A specific job description. Right now, it's just a matter of looking through all of our rules and laws. Let's tell her what we think is important, what makes the community look better. And if she can't do that, then we need to find someone.
If I
Yeah,
could,
you've already spoke on this issue, but make it brief.
just because this board is not aware that a previous board did have a closed board meeting on personnel to go over of what the person was supposed to look at. This week it's driveways, next week it's, so there was a schedule that this board was not aware of.
Thank you.
Eileen, just one more comment. The items that, like the dog problems with dogs, and there's quite a few of them. And I think it's difficult for the deed restriction ladies, and she's driving around and she's going to see that kind of a problem that the lady that stood up there and mentioned. I'm wondering if the office is going to start getting a lot of phone calls. That's my concern without having any of the cards.
I have to say, I have 2 dogs. It is impossible for one person to drive around and look at dog poop, who's walking their dogs on whose lawn. It's impossible in this community. There's so many animals. In the bylaws, it says a dog is not supposed to walk on your property. I gotta tell you, I don't know how you enforce that here without finding the majority of the community. Let's be realistic. That's not gonna happen. What I'm concerned about is people picking up after their dogs. That's what they should be looking at. The girl riding around, she can't find that. That's ludicrous to even think about. We have to self-police that. If then you go on my lawn and you don't pick it up, you're gonna know about it. I'm gonna be in your face. But you can't have hundreds and hundreds of dog owners expecting a woman once a week for 8 hours ride around looking for dog poop. Impossible.
Okay, I think we've beat this dead horse for a while, so, we have a motion on the floor. It's been moved and seconded to eliminate green cards. Let's call for the vote. All in favor, say aye.
No.
Opposed?
Opposed.
You want to do a roll call, Debbie?
All in
You
favor,
got enough?
Eileen's no.
Okay. All right, motion carried. Okay, fines and suspensions.
I make a motion to fine the owner of 10611 Springwood Drive for lawn and landscaping, $50 a day in violation of toxic covenants up to $5,000.
Have a second? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
I make a motion to fine the owner of 10611 Springwood Drive, $50 a day for maintenance in violation of toxic covenants up to $5,000.
Same property, right?
Yes.
We have a second?
I'll second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Carried.
I make a motion to fine the owner of 10925 Water Oak Drive, $50 a day for maintenance in violation of toxic covenants up to $5,000.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Carried. All right. Correspondence. 11251 Rollingwood Drive. Has the owner here to address this?
What would you want me to do? Do you want me to read out the complaint that we made, or, because it's lengthy, but what is it you need from me? Because everybody did get a copy of this.
Yes. What do you want?
We've addressed it here, so we will hand this out to you. In essence, let me get everybody updated who isn't updated. The glasses have been returned, but they have been returned in poor order. They're all scratched. They're unusable at this point. But because of the fact that we had to go a week and a half waiting for somebody to turn these glasses in, the same person who claimed she didn't have them, the same person who lied to the police saying, I don't have it, and now she does. The restitution we would like, if possible, okay? I'm going to ask that she be banned permanently from the pool. I understand that there have been other instances, whether reports have been made or not on it, I don't know. But people have told me that other items have been missing, they've run into problems with her. If they did, I don't know. I don't have proof, just what people told me. So that's why I'm asking for a permanent ban. That would include anybody bringing her as a guest. The other thing is, in all this time, she's never apologized to us. Clearly, she had the glasses. Clearly, she lied to everybody. We're the victims. We're not the bad guy, okay? We didn't even receive an apology. However, I will say, so in case there's anybody here who thinks what the heck is the matter with these people, why are they pursuing this? Just so you know, we're not the bad guy. We will not pursue any more legal action for her. Okay, she's in the clear at this point, as far as we're concerned. What the sheriff's department does from here, I don't know, but it has nothing to do with us because we said we will not prosecute. We're also not going to seek any restitution for the new glasses we have to buy. We just had to go back again on Monday. We brought the glasses to the the optometrist. They tried to see if they could get the scratches out. They couldn't, so we do have to get a new pair of glasses. But we are not going to seek restitution with that. So again, we're not the bad guy. We didn't cause this. We didn't ask for this. We just asked that something be done. The only other thing really that I'm also, I understand that there's no incident reports available at the office. But if something happens, you can't come in and say, can I have an incident report? I got to fill something out. No, you have to go home, write a letter, type a letter, bring it back, get a time and date stamped and all of that. So I'd like to know if it's possible, if we could have incident reports available to anybody who may have a problem, not just at the pool, but anywhere. And the other thing, I think, something to think about, I know we're all capable people here, we're all adults, but some people don't know how to act like adults. And it shouldn't ruin the fun for everybody who is here to act like an adult. Use the pool, use the clubhouse, use whatever that they pay for. I would like to know if it's possible, if we could, I understand there used to be a monitor that was at the pool. I don't know why he or she is not there anymore, but I do know that if there was a monitor there, the situation that happened to us could have been nipped in the bud immediately. And none of this, I wouldn't have to be standing here and whatever. So that's what I'd like. I'm going to give Debbie a copy of what we're asking for, and she can pass it out to you. And if there's any questions, I'll be more than happy to answer.
Don, would you like to address the incident report part?
So we do have an incident report that we utilize in the office, but it's more of injury type thing, like safety type stuff. There's no real incident report for what I would call a police complaint form.
It should be.
That's something we can look into.
My recommendation is leave police matters to the police. But if the board wants us to look into it, we can look into it.
What is the big deal about having an incident report filled out immediately? I don't understand. Nobody's holding anybody here responsible for
Didn't
it.
this happen on
Memorial Day.
Day, so there was no one in the office anyway?
That's correct. We had a
So it wouldn't have made a difference.
That's
in your
just
situation.
my incident, yeah.
I don't see the difference with having a incident report or writing up what happened. Either way, I mean, we can do a common incident report, but I don't see where that's the big issue here.
If I may, I think it's a good idea to have an incident report. You can't do it on the day it occurs because the office is closed. And on the first day the office has reopened, to go in there and create an incident report, have it on file, just like an accident report in the store or anything else. So we have it available if something comes up in the future. I think it's a great idea. And I also, and this is for another meeting, but I am going to be looking into getting that pool monitor discussion going again. I thought it was a great thing. I think we had the wrong people. But I think if you get the right people, a lot of these incidents will go away.
The other thing, instead of having to worry about going to the office to get an incident report, have blank ones out in front where you sign up for things to party with. That's always open, right? I mean, you can always go into that area. It's not,
When you have blank ones, you're opening yourself up for anybody to fill out anything they want.
but you have cameras to back you up.
You can take it as deep as you like. It's,
Donna?
Kind of like with Larry, I do kind of agree, we should have some kind of report, just like the guy that picked up everybody's shoes and thrown them into the pool because they were disturbing his quiet time while they were having water aerobics. So I do think that we should have some form of an incident.
As usual, I am the one who is not going to be popular, but I did watch this on the film, and I was not aware of anything beforehand. I watched to see whether she took the glasses. We could not ascertain whether she did or not.
She brought them back.
I'm sorry. Let me talk.
I will, so you have to correct yourself. Do the truth.
Are you finished now? Can I speak?
I don't know. Let's see what you have to say.
Sit down, please. You've had your turn at the microphone. Please sit down.
Is my time up?
Yes.
I went down to the office to watch the film. I don't know if everyone is aware of this, but the woman that caused all these problems, quote, was in the chair first. I don't think they were aware of that. Mr. Vesey and his sister or sister-in-law, I don't know which, came in about 5 minutes after this woman got up and went in the pool. They put their stuff on the chair she was in, and the chair next to that one, and put stuff on the table in between, which was Mr. Vesey's glasses, some noodles on the chair. They went into the pool. She got out of the pool, went to the chair she was on. There were things on it. Her family and friends were sitting behind them. My assumption, and I have not talked to her, I have not heard her side of it, was that she thought it was her family's things that had been put there. She moved the noodles off to the side, took the towel, dried off. It was Mr. Vesey's towel. I do not think she was aware that it was not her family's that was on that chair that she had been using. In the meantime, Mr. Vesey finds out, sees that someone's on the chair, and he gets out. And of course, he's upset by it, which anyone would be. She's using his towel. He's not aware that she was using the chair first. There had been nothing on it. I think this whole incident got blown out of proportion. Yes, from what I saw, she had had quite a bit to drink. She was loopy. But I don't think anything nasty was meant. I don't know how the glasses got picked up. Originally, she did not pick them up. And then if you kept watching afterwards, you see her pick them up. She claimed that she thought they were hers. She said she didn't have them. A police report was made, which is what had to be done because we are not responsible for things that you bring to the pool that are taken or missing. That is not Timber Oak's responsibility. That is your own. They made a police report, which is something they should have done. The police came, they went, they asked her. That part of it, we are not responsible for. And yet John took it upon himself to call every day to ask them, have you checked? Are you sure you don't have the glasses? John, her husband, is yelling at John. And yet John continued to call. She finally called back the same day I was there to watch the film to say that, oh, she found the glasses. Now, that was completely out of our hand. They come in to get the glasses and all they did was yell at us. It was our responsibility. Why didn't we do something? That is not our responsibility. I don't know what you expect your board to do, but we are not responsible for things that are stolen at the pool. As a matter of fact, if you want to have her banned, you need to give us a reason. And someone being loopy at the pool is not a reason for us to ban them permanently from the pool or take their privileges away. Sorry, but that's where it stood at this point. And when he came in to get the glasses, it was 2 hours after. He said the glasses were new. Honestly, they did not look at, that's not my judgment. And it's not our judgment, it's not our responsibility to reimburse him for the cost of his glasses. That's what showed on the film, which is what we have to rely on.
Eileen, I was the one that went down there and probably looked at the film 4 or 5 times before, and I did not look at the people. I just kept watching the table where the mayor's already told you to pretty much how people went in sequence where he put his glasses. And I kept waiting to see if somebody knocked the table, did they fall on the ground, who took the glasses? And and the thing about the towel, and I could see where the confusion was from the man put the towel on the chair she had originally been laying on, and she goes in the pool. He goes in the pool, leaves the towel there. She gets out of the pool, and her mother put a pair of glasses on that towel. So I'm sure she thought that the towel belonged to her mother, put the towel there for her, dries herself off with the towel. He gets out of the pool. They must have had words. You can't tell on the video what people are saying. And, so she goes, gets another chair as the end result, puts her right next to the table. She gets her stuff on, gets ready to leave, picks her stuff up, starts to leave, comes back, goes around, and then I guess she thought those glasses that were still sitting there were hers, picks them up, starts walking away, and we don't see her leave the pool with them. So I guess she put them in her bag. And you can see where somebody might have made a mistake, and I don't know if she was drunk, I can't say that, but she was walking a little funny. And so she may have thought the glasses were hers. I don't know. Wasn't there. So the point is that it seemed like a very confusing situation when you watch the film. You could see where people may have been confused. It looks like an emotional situation when the two of them were arguing over the chair. Sometimes people drink too much, I think.
You think?
And yes, I did think when I watched the film. And it wasn't just 1 or 2 people. There were a lot of people down for Memorial Day.
Well, that's a judgment we can't make.
And also, the state statutes say you cannot fine someone unreasonably. So when we suspend people, it's not for a lifetime.
Thanks, Eileen.
Oh,
Yeah.
boy. Okay, again, Dale Thompson, Hachita Drive. I love you, Ed, and LeMay, your hair looks really cute. But you know what? I'm sitting here listening to all of this, and I do have one big question. If the parents of this person were right there, did they get involved at all? Did they say anything? They didn't say to her, oh, that's not your towel, that's not your this, that's not our stuff. They just sat there and I'm very confused because my family would have said right away, yeah, what the heck are you doing? We're over here, that's not your stuff, or something. Did they get involved in this?
Yeah, we don't have that information.
And they were sitting behind her at a table. They were not with
They were
her at
under
the
the
lounge
awning.
chair.
Okay, so they never came to the office, they never got involved at all. Okay. My second question is, did I understand, I thought I've heard this a couple of times, did I understand this right? Even though the pool is our property, if I'm out in the pool and somebody decides they don't like me and they whack me in the head with something, we're not supposed to come in and tell the office that something's going on out there. We're supposed to just call the police and not come in here. Because people come in here all the time to the office, I know that, saying, oh, something's going on, something's going on. We're not supposed to do that. We're just supposed to call the police.
Absolutely reported. They were not physically accosted. Their complaint is the glasses.
No, I'm talking about future,
And I'm
past,
saying
anybody,
to
if
you,
somebody's
yes,
hurt,
make a
beaten,
report.
whatever.
Yes, make a report.
But don't expect help from in here.
Nobody said that.
Well, that's what I'm trying to find out.
No, the last time when the shoes were lifted up and thrown, that person was suspended and it was held up. That did not happen here. There was no physical altercation.
No, you're not.
I know, you're saying in the future, if this happens, yes, absolutely, come in and report it.
Okay, that's what I'm trying to find out. Do we eliminate notifying the office at the time of the incident and just call the cops? Or do we notify the office and call the cops? Because I kind of heard it like it's not our responsibility. I want nothing to do with it. Take care of it with the police.
There was no one there.
Am I allowed to speak on this?
Are you gonna say the same thing?
No, actually, it's gonna be from the horse's mouth because I'm the
Okay.
one that was there.
Speak away, you got 3 minutes.
Thank you. Okay. First of all, I'm in a pool and like a normal day, swimming. Okay? I don't have my glasses on because I'm in the pool. Okay? I couldn't tell. I didn't go back to this woman and turn around and go there because she was laying on my towel. My sister-in-law says, Bob, she says, I can't see my bag, the beach bag. So I turn around and I says, I don't see it either. You're absolutely right. So I get out of the pool. And when I see the lady laying on my towel, I said to her, ma'am, she didn't answer me. I said, ma'am, she didn't answer me again. Then on the third time, I said it a little bit louder, ma'am. Okay, and then she turned around and she took the hat over the top of her face. And I said, ma'am, you're laying on my towel. What did you do with my belongings? Now, if I put something there and they thought it was theirs and they placed it, okay, there was no placing. My cell phone was underneath the table that was under by the mother and the father. Okay, the keys were in somebody else's shoes. Okay, so there was no placing of anything. I hate that when they say that. Okay, I couldn't find it. I couldn't get any cooperation from these people, not even their names. You'd think that they would get up and take a look to see if they can find something. They knew what happened. Okay, this woman was intoxicated. It was absolutely ridiculous. And she drove a motor vehicle. God forbid she hit somebody and killed one of your family. How would you turn around and feel about that as she left the pool and we didn't do nothing about it? It's terrible. That's all I got to say. I'm very disappointed.
Thank you.
I ask a question about that? Shouldn't incidents like that go to the Fines and Suspension Committee? A letter be sent to each person involved with the incident? I know in the past, I've appeared before committees and been reprimanded for things, and you talked it over and they made the decision. Now, I think the board taking the fall all the time, but maybe there's a procedure needs set up for this now. I don't know. But it's very possible if the Fines and Suspension Committee brought both parties in at the same time and heard both sides of it, because we're hearing 4 different versions of what happened, depending on who was there and who told who. So maybe, John, some kind of system should be set up for these type of incidents so that the board doesn't take the fall for suspending someone unless it's proven by the Fines and Suspension Committee. Just a thought. Thank you.
I think the only reason this would go to fines and suspensions, if we decided, yes, we are going to suspend our privileges for whatever, then they have a choice to go in front of fines and suspension and argue their side. But without the board doing that, it will not go. They do not have the authority or the responsibility to do that to a resident here. No, they cannot come to us from fines and suspension.
Maybe because of recent incidences at the pool, the board might consider upgrading to a better audio or a visual with audio.
Okay, is there a motion or anything on this issue? Anyone want to make a motion? Seeing none, refrigerator and put it in the wood shop for their personal use. We asked that it be removed. And they asked that it be put on the agenda so they can address it. Is there someone here to address it? Don?
The 2 gentlemen that were planning on coming had told me late yesterday that separately, something came up and that it was going to keep them from coming today, and don't see them in the crowd.
Okay, so at this point, the wood shop needs to remove their refrigerator. Donna?
I personally do not think that anything else should be allowed to go back in that wood shop. If we do a precedent for this, we're gonna have to do a precedent for maybe the sewing room wants a refrigerator or the pool room wants a refrigerator. They were up to the same thing, so I think we should be.
This refrigerator has already been asked to be removed before. I don't think we need a motion on it because it's already in violation. So it's been removed and brought back. So at this point, we just have to insist it be removed or we'll remove it. Any other talk on that? Okay,
I make a motion that we,
thanks for coming. All in favor?
aye.
Opposed? Okay, open forum. Anyone want to address open forum?
Mr. President, at this time, I'd like to have my name removed as a volunteer from the ARC committee.
Hello, Brian Champagne. I just wanted to bring this up again. But first of all, I want to commend you all because you're doing a great job. I'm sitting here listening to everything and it's like, oh, okay. What I wanted to say is I want to know if anything is going to be done about the gym equipment, some of the equipment that's in there that's antiquated. So I know I brought it up to 2 meetings ago. And I do like the idea that you have them at 1 o'clock because I can make it. So I just wanted to know what was going on because the elliptical is rusting out and there's always one treadmill or something broken. So I just was hoping that you'd think about putting it in the agenda, putting it in the budget to at least upgrade the equipment.
Okay, we addressed this at the last meeting. At the last meeting, all the equipment was working, correct, John?
Currently, as of today, we have, and I think for about the last week, we have one treadmill that's out of order.
I mean, it's always.
We are looking at replacing equipment, but we haven't one proposal at this point.
Okay.
And it's about $45,000, so it's not cheap.
I'm not writing the check.
41,000.
But thank you for thinking about it. That's all. Thank you.
Can I say something? When we got the bid for the $45,000, we went in to see how much money we had that we could actually use, and we don't have near that amount. It's pretty pathetic, so we're kind of stymied at this point of where to get money and what to do with it. We agree a lot needs to be done in there, but at this point, we're kind of stuck financially, but we will do whatever we can with the money that we have.
Thank you.
Patricia French Weislick, 7024 13A06. I'd like to point out to the board that there is a new federal holiday, Juneteenth. Well, the 19th happens to be a Sunday, and the federal government is celebrating it on Monday, the 20th. And I just think the board should consider giving all of our wonderful support staff the day off. Thank you.
That's my birthday.
Yeah, I just saw that on Facebook this morning. I was like, that year went fast. Okay, oh boy, LeMay, like you, I'm gonna make some enemies right now, but I've been thinking a lot about this retention wall or something that we need out here. What is that called again? Seawall. Okay. I remember a couple of times at meetings where people that lived where they had the beautiful pond behind their house wanted to put up a little deck or something. And it was somehow or another checked out and found out that some of the people that live along there actually own property that goes out into the water. So if I'm right, that would mean if they own property that go into the water, they would be responsible for the section of the wall on the lake. I don't know if I'm correct, but if the Jasmine fence can't be replaced, if we all decided we want to put up a white fence, we can't just put up a white fence. then how can we pay to put a wall up around the whole lake if part of what that is going on their property?
It's
The
not,
wall is not around the whole lake, it's only in front of the.
Oh dear God, you don't know what I've been hearing. Oh, heaven help us, it was like $6 billion it was gonna cost us to put it around there and everything, so this is just hearsay again.
well, that's a closed amount though, Dale.
Yes, sir.
How you doing? Steve Brzezinski, 8621 Winding Wood Drive, Port Ritchie, just around the corner. I've been here last year, August. I was accused of having an unlicensed vehicle. And John here, I went to talk to him, and he wanted me to produce my vehicle at the office so he could inspect it. I said, no, my licensed vehicle. Right now, we have a neighbor has an unlicensed vehicle in his driveway. I brought that to John's attention, and well, quite nicely, he closed the door and says goodbye. So wrote up a green card, have a picture, okay. Now, I'd like it to, let's say, make it easy. Or, now this is an ordinance, Pasco ordinance also, that there's no supposed to be unlicensed vehicles in the property, correct?
Right.
Well, I have a picture right here that it's been there since May 4th. You have a newsletter that comes out every month. And it seems that there's more advertisement in it than anything else. I would like to make a suggestion that you would put more, how can I say, emphasis on rules and regulations that are in your bylaws and have everybody pull in the driveway instead of backing it. Then, what's that? Okay. Then you wouldn't have this problem. You would be able to have the person, whoever comes around and sees this violation. Is that something that could be taken care of?
I don't think we want to tell people they can't back in their driveway.
Well, then how do you take care of problems? I was accused, I had 2 letters.
I know you were.
Yeah, you
I
remember?
remember.
Yeah.
And that was wrong.
Right. And this gentleman here, he's the chief inspector. He says, you got to bring it to the office. I went to him and asked him and showed him the picture. He says, well, there's nothing we can do about it. So there should be something that you can do about it.
Yep, we can send them a letter.
Well, that's probably the best thing to do. But he says they can't do nothing because they can't see it. That's why if the vehicle's backed in, how do you know it's registered?
No.
That's why you should put it in the bylaws. Just pull in. And you got the plate, you don't have that problem. Right?
Everyone who moves in here gets a copy of the bylaws and the regulations. I think once this committee is done and we have regulations, uniform regulations that we're giving to the woman who goes around and inspects, I think those should be posted in the newsletter. As far as the car, if it's backed up, we don't have, legally, we cannot go on the property to check it. So I don't know what would happen there.
Well, I got letters last year.
And we
realize
supported
that.
you, as I recall.
Well, that's because somebody see me driving it after the fact. Right? Okay. But like I'm saying, if, it's like beating the dead horse, like you said. You know what I'm saying? It's just frustrating. When I get harassed on this, just because the car's got a cover on it, they said you can't see. So, but how did they find out that I didn't have plates and registration on the car? Because somebody complained. That's the green card. But now if you don't eliminate the green card, you're gonna have to figure out some other way of doing this. And somebody in the office should not have control over that. That's another thing. Somebody other than the office should have control over what goes on for the inspections. Not this gentleman, not this lady, nobody in the office. It should be an independent person doing the inspections.
Okay, thank you. Your 3 minutes.
Thank you.
I just want to make a statement that has to do with this, if you all remember, and Ed, I know you remember. I got in trouble for having my car sit when I didn't have the money to get the transmission fixed. It's a nice little car, everybody tells me it's beautiful. It was sitting in my driveway. I made the mistake of covering it with a sheet, which I shouldn't have done. And the next thing you know, I was forced to buy a real car cover, which I didn't have to buy. Thank you, Ed. But how did anybody know? I mean, somebody had to know that I wasn't using my car.
Yours was registered, right?
Yes, it was registered, sure, it had license plate and everything. I just didn't have the money to get it fixed at the time. But because it was sitting in my car, I had to get a real cover to put on it. What do you mean, no?
Wasn't that also when green cards were out? I don't know how.
Oh, yeah, oh, yeah. Well, yeah, they're still out right now, aren't they?
Okay, see nobody in line. Let's go. Okay, Ron.
Ron Weislich, 107. You know, when we do something, we try to do it to improve something. But we had a system of green cards. Maybe it wasn't perfect, but it worked to some people. Now you guys eliminated the green cards without having something to replace it. Now, if there's something wrong in the community, what do we do? What do we see? Well, we got, you know, the person that drives around, maybe they don't do the best job, but nobody said anything about them. You know, on my street on Rolingwood, there's a guy that has a wagon or cart or whatever it is on, wood chips sitting next to his house. That guy has been there for a year or more without ever moving that car. I mean, it's not on his driveway, it's on his lawn, and they just have wood chips under it. Now, if you're not gonna do anything about it, or that woman who drives around and takes pictures of it and nobody does anything about that, what alternatives do we as residents have to report somebody else who is not going by the rules?
Meeting closed.